Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What is the current repo rate in the second bi-monthly monetary policy review of Reserve Bank of India for fiscal year? Right answer is 5.75. So recently, the 6-member Monetary Policy Committee of RBI has reduced the repo rate by 25 basis points. So the present repo rate is 5.75. If we talk about repo rate is the interest rate at which the central bank provides liquidity to the banks for short-term liquidity mismatches. Now your homework is to find out who is the chairman of Monetary Policy Committee and how the members of Monetary Policy Committee are selected. So the repo rate is 5.75%, reverse repo is 5.50%, MSF, that is marginal standing facility, and bank rate are 6%. Now a reduction in repo rate means banks will get cheaper money from RBI. Subsequently, they can reduce interest rate for the customers. RBI was also in news as recently it organized 2019 Financial Literacy Week, and the theme of this Financial Literacy Week was farmers and how they benefit from being a part of formal banking system. RBI was also in news as recently it has constituted a 6-member committee to review the existing state of mortgage securitization in India, and Mr. Harshvardhan is the chairman of this committee. RBI was also in news as it has constituted a task force headed by Mr. T.N. Manoharan. The task force will look into the issues related to development of secondary market for corporate loans. On the other hand, recently, a committee headed by Mr. Nandan Nilekani submitted its report on promoting digital payments. The report was submitted to RBI Governor Mr. Shaktikant Das. Which country has recently launched Arctic train service? Right answer is Russia. So recently, Russia launched Arctic train service. Answer in comment box. Recently, which country has been re-elected as observer of Arctic Council? Now, if we talk about Russia, recently, the first summit between Russian President Mr. Putin and North Korean President Mr. Kim Jong-un held in Vladivostok in Russia. Russia was also in news as recently it successfully tested world's first floating nuclear power plant. Russia was also in news as the Antisip version of BrahMos missile was test fired recently, and BrahMos is a joint venture between India and Russia. BrahMos is world's fastest supersonic cruise missile. On the other hand, Russia was also in news as recently Russia launched nuclear-powered Arctic icebreaker. The name of this icebreaker is Ural. The Joku Valley, which is in news recently, is located in which of the following northeast state of India? Right answer is Nagaland. So, the Joku Valley in Nagaland has been officially declared plastic-free zone on the occasion of 2019 World Environment Day. If we talk about World Environment Day, on World Environment Day, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has written to the Uttar Pradesh government to submit a proposal to declare Dhanori as a Ramsar site. Ramsar Convention is related to wetland conservation. If we talk about World Environment Day, it was on 5th of June and the theme was Beat Air Pollution. If we talk about the initiative taken by the Union Environment Ministry, recently Union Environment Ministry has constituted a committee to implement National Clean Air Program. The objective of National Clean Air Program is to reduce particulate matter pollution by 20% to 30% in at least 102 cities by 2024. So this is a 5-year plan from 2019 to 2024, and 2017 will be taken as a base year for data comparison. And the committee to implement National Clean Air Program will be chaired by Secretary of Union Environment Ministry. That means Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Who of the following players has become the India's highest capped footballer? Right answer is Mr. Sunil Chhetri. So Mr. Sunil Chhetri has become the India's highest capped footballer by surpassing Baichung Bhutia's 107 international matches. If we talk about football, recently Liverpool won the Champions League for the 6th time. Apart from that, recently Services lifted the 2019 Santosh Trophy by defeating Punjab. And Mr. Igor Stimac has been appointed as head coach of Indian men's senior football team. Mr. Stimac is from Croatia. Answer in comment box. What is the capital of Croatia? On the other hand, football was in news as the 2023 Asian Cup football tournament will be hosted by China, while the next FIFA World Cup will be hosted by Qatar. The capital of Qatar is Doha. Which social networking site has launched its first interactive game show, Confetti, in India? Right answer is Facebook. So Facebook has announced its first interactive game show, Confetti, in India. It was first launched in USA, and the interactive game will challenge participants to answer pop culture trivia questions and to win 3 lakh rupees as a cash prize every day. If we talk about Facebook, recently Facebook was in news as it banned white nationalism and white separatism on its platform. The decision was taken subsequently after Christchurch mosque shooting. After Christchurch mosque shooting at Paris Summit, French President and New Zealand Prime Minister launched Christchurch Call Initiative to eliminate terrorist and violent content online. India, along with various other countries, have signed for this Christchurch call for action. However, USA has declined to join the initiative. So this initiative was launched at Paris Summit. Paris is in France. The headquarters of OECD is also in Paris, and recently OECD was in news as MHRD, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development, has signed an agreement with OECD for participation in 2021 PISA. PISA stands for Program for International Student Assessment. So if we talk about OECD, it is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The headquarters of OECD is in France in Paris, and OECD conduct PISA every 3 years. The Airport Authority of India has recently signed pact with which company to modernize air traffic management in India? Right answer is Boeing. So recently, Boeing and Airport Authority of India have signed a technical assistance agreement for developing a comprehensive roadmap for modernization of air traffic services in our country. If we talk about AAI, it is Airports Authority of India. It is a statutory body. Answer in comment box. Airports Authority of India is under which ministry? If we talk about Boeing, recently Boeing was in news because of Chinook military helicopters, as Boeing is the manufacturer of Chinook helicopters, and Chinook helicopters were in news because they were inducted into Indian Air Force. So Boeing is a American aerospace company. If we talk about America, recently the second summit between US President Mr. Trump and North Korean President Mr. Kim Jong-un held in Hanoi in Vietnam. The first summit between these two leaders held in Singapore. Apart from that, recently US President Mr. Trump became the first world leader to meet Japan's new emperor Mr. Naruhito. Apart from that, USA was also in news as US President Mr. Trump has officially recognized Israeli sovereignty over occupied Golan Heights. Golan Heights is a disputed territory between Israel and Syria. USA was also in news as recently USA has removed India and Switzerland from its currency monitoring list of major trading partners. Who has become the first South Asian American woman to chair US House? Right answer is Miss Pramila Jayapal. So Indian American Congresswoman Miss Pramila Jayapal has become the first South Asian American woman to preside over US House of Representatives. If we talk about few other women which were in news recently Miss Lori Lightfoot became the first African American woman to be elected as a mayor of Chicago. On the other hand, recently Flight Lieutenant Mohana Singh became the first women fighter pilot to fly by a Hawk advanced jet aircraft. On the other hand, recently Flight Lieutenant Miss Bhavna Kant became India's first female fighter of Indian Air Force to qualify to undertake combat missions for day operations. On the other hand, recently Miss M. Jayashree Vyas has been appointed as first independent women director of Bombay Stock Exchange, and Professor Najma Akhtar has become the first ever women vice chancellor of Jamia Millia Islamia University. On the other hand, recently Captain Arohi Pandit has become the world's first woman to cross the Atlantic Ocean solo in a light sports aircraft? Siddharth Rawat is associated to which sports? Right answer is tennis. So Mr. Rawat is a tennis player and recently he defeated Ryo Noguchi of Japan to win his first title in ITF Men's Future Tennis Tournament. Which country has successfully launched its first sea-based space rocket from Yellow Sea? Right answer is China. So recently, China has successfully launched a space rocket from sea for the first time, and China became the third nation to successfully demonstrate the ability to launch satellites from a floating platform. Earlier, Russia and USA have demonstrated such capabilities. If we talk about China, recently China successfully tested world's first armed amphibious drone boat. China was also in news as recently it banned Wikipedia. China was also in news as recently Starbucks has opened a silent cafe in China. China was also in news because of 30 years of Tiananmen Square protest. The 2019 G20 Finance Ministers meeting is scheduled to be held in which of the following cities? Right answer is Fukuoka. So Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman will attend a 2-day meeting of G20 Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors in Japan in Fukuoka. If we talk about G20 summits, the first G20 summit held in 2008 in USA. Last year, the G20 summit held in Argentina. This year, Japan is the host of G20 summit and India will host the G20 summit in 2022, while in 2020, Saudi Arabia will be the host of G20 summit. The capital of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh. Recently, Saudi Arabia was in news as the 14th summit of Organization of Islamic Cooperation held in Saudi Arabia in Makkah. The headquarters of Organization of Islamic Cooperation is in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was also in news as recently it launched Extended Residence Program, which is popularly known as the Gold Card. Similarly, UAE has launched a permanent residency scheme for expatriates and it is popularly known as Golden Card. So these were the most important current affairs of the day. Thank you, and that's all for the day.